Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Bastro Daf Zayin, and I would like to thank my friend Aaron Israel who helped me prepare for this daf. Says the Gemara Daf Vav on base at the bottom. Anu Beitrei. These two people, and Rashi explains that there were two brothers who got Yerusha from the father. The Dairi Chad Anu Beitrei Davu Dairi Chad Avadari Loi V'Chad Avadari Tatoi. So one took the bottom floor and one took the attic. Itbatatoi. The whole house sank in, and the guy at the bottom's house became very low, but the attic was still nice and good. The one living in the house told the person in the attic, so let's call the person in the house Reuven, and the one in the attic Shimon. Shimon, let's build this. I want to make the house higher that I can live in it normally. So Shimon told Reuven, I'm living in the attic, I have no issues. So Reuven told Shimon, I'll break down the house and I'll build it. You don't have to pay anything. Where will I live meanwhile? So Reuven told Shimon, I'll rent you a place for meanwhile until I finish the construction. It's a hassle for me to move houses and move back. So Reuven told Shimon, I can't live over there, it's too low for me, the house. So he told him, your house is low, crawl in, crawl out, that's not my issue. Omar Rav Chama, what's the din? Bedino Shimon could me'akev Shimon and say, I'm not moving out of here, I'm staying, my attic is perfect, it's your own issue. Said the Gemara of Animili, and that's talking about the loimoti kishur lemata ma'asora, that the house didn't, the beams of the roof didn't go less than 10 tefachim. Aval moti kishuri lemata ma'asora, the beams went so low, less than 10 tefachim. Moti amale. So the Reuven can tell Shimon, lemata miyud, less than 10 tefachim connected to the ground, the Reshusa Didiu, it's my house, you're living now in my house, the attic went very low, it's in my house, it's not yours, and therefore we have to rebuild it. So like more of animal, and also this thing that we said that Shimon's no mechuyev is deloy atnu gabe adodi, that when they split, one took the house and one took the attic, they didn't make it night to say that if it goes down in height, I could will rebuild it. But if atnu gabe adodi, but they made this condition, such they break down the whole thing and they build it, they rebuild it. So the Gemara, if they made the condition, they said, let's split it, I'll take the attic, you take the ground floor. And they said the condition that if the attic sinks in a bit, you could rebuild it. So ad kama, how much does it have to sink in that the guy at the bottom can tell him, Reuven can tell Shimon, listen, I want to rebuild it. Ormu Rabbanon kamei de Rabba. Mishmei de Marazutra, Breder of Nachman, the Oma Mishmei de Rav Nachman. So they told us in front of Rabbah in the name of Rav Nachman, like we learned elsewhere, Roimoi, when a person builds a house and the height of the roof has to be kichetzi orkoi, as the height of half the length, v'chetzi rochba, and half the width. So if let's say the house was 10 ames on 5, so the height has to be 7.5. So if it goes less than 7.5, he could force him to rebuild it. Omalu Rabba told them, Lava Minalahu, didn't I tell you, Loi titlu boy bukus riki Rav Nachman, don't make up things that Rav Nachman never said. Rav Nachman said something else. Ochi Omar Rav Nachman, this is what Rav Nachman said. Kedidari inchi, like people live. Bekama, what's normal for a person to live? Omar Avona, brother Rav Shuak, Echi Daili, Isurisa de Mechuz of Oda. That should be enough height. They could bring in the Sirusa is a chavilois of konim, long konim. They could bring that into the house for Oda, and he could turn around. That's anything lower than that. You can't do that. You could force a guy upstairs to rebuild. So the Gemara, a similar story, the same idea. Gaber, this man, the Abed Boni Ashisa, he built a wall. Achori kavi dechavri, behind the windows of his friends. Omale, so he told him, one of the windows, you making dark, I can't have windows. My windows, light doesn't come in. Omale secharnuloch, I'll close your existing windows, and I'll build you new windows higher than the wall that I've built. So Omale, making my wall weaker by changing the location of the windows. So Amale, you know what? I'll take down the wall, add duchte the kavri until the height of the windows, the bottom of the windows, and then I'll build it up the wall again. And then I'll build the new windows higher than the wall that I built, that the sun could go into your windows. He tells them, Ashisa, my wall, mitato atika, that the bottom part until the window is the old wall, and from there upwards, chadota is a new wall. It won't last long. So I'll break down your whole wall until the ground, and I'll build it from fresh, and I'll do the windows bigavo in the new wall, and it's going to be higher than the wall that I built. If in my house has one new wall, the one you're going to rebuild, and the whole house is the old walls, it won't last long. So I'll demolish your whole house, and I'll rebuild the house, I'll build the windows higher. Then it's all new walls. Where will I live meanwhile? I'll rent you a place. I don't want to move place until you finish and rebuild the house. So Omar Rav Choma, it says Rav Choma, Bedin Komakev, he could keep this. He could say, no, I don't want that, and I'm not willing for you to do this by break your wall that you built that's blocking my window. So the Gemara, these two stories are the same. That person can't force someone else to move out of his house for his own benefit. But too normally, why do we need twice the same story? So the Gemara, this is the Chiddush over here. Even though that this case of the windows is the only use in this house, he doesn't live in it. He's only using it for tivna, for hay, beit tivia, and for wood. He could say, I don't want to bother to start moving my wood and my hay to a different house until you finish your construction. I'm staying here, and you please demolish your wall that's disturbing the light to come into my house. Tell the Gemara, these two brothers, the Palgu Bade Adoti, that they split a Yerusha from the father. Chad Matias builder, one got a tracklin, is like a hole that has a nice light coming into it. V'chad Mati Tarbitza, and one got the garden that's outside the hole where the light comes into the hole. Ozalo the Mati Tarbitza, the one who had the garden, the Koboni Ashita, he built a wall, Apumudaspali, on the entrance of the hole, and now there's no light coming in anymore. It's just a closed room. Omale Komafel Tola, you're making it dark for me. Omale Bididi Kobanin, I'm building a wall in my property. Omar Rav Choma, again Rav Choma, we're going to see a few dinim of Rav Choma, and soon we're going to see if we pass like him or not. Omar Rav Choma, Bidin Komale, he's correct. He's allowed to build a wall in his own property. Omale Ravina Ravashi, Maishno Mehodetani, why is this different from the Bryce that says Shnai Achim Shecholku, two brothers who split a Yerusha, Echad Mehem Notal Sode Kerem, one of them took a vineyard, Vechad Mehem Notal Sode Loban, and one of them got just a field where you plant wheat. Yeshli le Bala Kerem Daled Amos the Sode Loban. The Bala Kerem has 4 amas into the wheat field where he could go with his oxes for the works of the vineyard. Shamenaskin Cholku, when they split it, it was Menas to get those 4 extra amas. So also here, when they split it, was Al-Menas, they should have light coming in. Amalei Hosom de Olu Ladodi. Over there, it's talking about what's worth more, vineyard or a place where you just grow wheat? For sure, vineyard. So they estimated it, and the person who got the vineyard paid extra for the vineyard to the person who got just the field. And therefore, since he paid, so it's included that payment that he could use 4 amas in his field. They didn't estimate the value of each one and say, oh, a tracklin's worth much more than a garden. And we're talking about crazy people. One took a garden, one took a nice hall, and the other one took a garden. Obviously, we're not talking about stupid people, and obviously pay them extra, so you should include the light to come in. And he didn't pay him extra for the getting the hole. No. Even here by the case of the hole and the garden, they did pay him extra. So what he paid for extra was that he's getting bricks and beams and hudri. What's hudri? I think it's a type of wood. But he didn't pay him extra for the light to come in. Says the Gemara, when we split up, we said, I'm getting a hole. Now you're making it endure. It's like a closed room with no air coming in. So it's not what we agreed to split on. When he said a hole, it's just a name. That's what we call it, a hole. But it doesn't literally have to be a hole. I'll bring you a Aryeh. I'm selling you a place where you could grow a base kur. And even it's only half the size, the sales gone through. Because when he said a base kur, it just meant a place where they call it a base kur. And if everyone call it base kur, even if you could only get lesach out of it, the sales good. And a similar case says the Brayz of Paradise, and I'm selling you the orchard, even though there's no pomegranates in it, the deal is a good deal. He only meant the name that's called the orchard, Paradise, and it must be that you call it a paradise even though there has no pomegranates in it. If you said I'm selling you a vineyard, even though that doesn't have any grape trees, the sales done. He only sold in something that's called a kerem. If people call this a kerem, even if there's no one grape tree in it, maybe because in the past there was a kerem, the sale is a good sale. So we could see that's just a name. So also here, when he said a hole, it didn't really mean that it should continue to be a hole. Said the Gemara, Midomi, how could he compare? The seller could tell the buyer, Shmoz Biniloch, I sold you the name, not literally this. Here, the person who got the hole could say, I got this hole to live in it like our father lived in it, and our father had the nice light coming in. You can't go and ruin it first for me, and I will live not like our father lived. So they told him, who told him? Marianuka, the young one, Umarka, she says the old one, and both Breder of Chizda, the kids of Rav Chizda, maybe the oldest and youngest son of Rav Chizda, Rav Ashi. It's the people from Nardor that they hold like this. What do they hold? The Omar of Nachman, who comes, Omar Shmuel, who comes from Nardor, Achim Shecholku, brothers who split. And now, let's say in the past, there was a way, it was one field, and the father would come in from one field to the other field, and now they split it up. So one can't say to each other, oh, our father used to come through this field to the other field, you also have to give me a right. If they block the windows, they have no tinus cells there. If one got the attic and one got the first floor, you can't say, oh, our father used to come in through the ladder in the chotzer that belongs to you now, give me the ladder. No. And all where the water goes to water the field. He doesn't have a taina. And keep the halachas because it's halachas kvuos, and that's the way it is. So we could see that they hold that when Achim Shecholku, they don't have the same rights like the father, and therefore Rav Chama's din makes sense. Rava argued and says if the father used to walk through the field, so now the son who got the other field could also walk through his brother's field, etc. So the Gemara, Oshtar, this document, the Atmi that it said that the Yisoimim someone owes the Yisoimim a sum of money. Now the Yisoimim want the money, and the people who owe the money bring a document, a receipt saying that they paid the money. Amar Rav Chama, so again we have Rav Chama, we don't take the money from these people and give the Yisoimim but we also don't tear up the document of the Yisoimim saying that these people owe the money. And Rav Chama explains, the reason why we don't claim the money, because there's a receipt that these people paid. The reason why we don't tear up the document, when the Yisoimim will get big, maybe they bring a raya that this receipt is a forge. So therefore we don't tear up the document. Amalei Rav Acha, Breder of Rava, Liravina. Ilchasamai, we said here a bunch of halachas of Rav Chama. Is the halacha like him or not? Amalei, Bekulu Ilchasa Rav Chama, and all these din in the halachas like Rav Chama, Lebar Mitavra, except of the last case, of the document. And what do we do over there? And since this receipt has Eidim on it, we don't take on that they lied, and therefore we believe the receipt and we tear up the document of the loan. Even in the case of the Shtar Choiv, with the Yisayim, you do tear it up. You do listen to Rav Chama and you don't tear it up. Why? If this receipt was a good receipt, why did this receipt never come up when the father was still alive? Obviously, since we never seen it before, there's a big chashash over here that if people said, oh, the father died, there's only Yisayim left, let's forge a shtar of a receipt. And therefore, since this chashash is big, therefore we keep the document, and when the Yisayim grows, they have a Aryeh that if the document is a forge, they'll get the money that was owed to the father. Said the Mishnah. The Mishnah is talking about different things that can you force other people to chip in to pay for certain things? So the Mishnah starts with people who live in the same chotza, and it says, Koifi Moisoi, Bnei Chotza could force someone who lives in the chotza, livnois beis shar v'deles lechotza, to build. A beis shar is like a place where the guard sits in the front of the chotza to stop people coming in, and a door to the chotza. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel argues, he says, Lo kol hachatzeres ruis lebeis shar. No, not every chotza you could force him to build a guard's post. And we're going to see in the Gemara when yes and when not. Now, a new case, people who live in the same city. So, if you're building a wall around the city to protect from people to come in, and someone doesn't want to pay, you can force him to pay. But glosaim and doors or bariach is like a hinge. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, he also argues, not in every city it's roi for choyma, so not every time you could force everyone to pay for it, and we're going to see in the Gemara when yes and when not. And now we said that you could force someone in the city to pay for the fence around the city, for the choyma. So who is called someone who lives in the city? It says a Mishnah, Kama yeberir, how long did he live in the city? And we consider him someone from the person who lives here that we could force him to pay. You'd base chodesh if he lives there for 12 months. But if he bought a property, a house in this city, Aryeh can't share miyad, the straight when he buys a property is considered like someone who lives here even though they haven't lived in it 12 months. Says the Gemara, you want to tell me the Beis Shar Mal Yusui, to build a guard post at the entrance of your chotza is a good thing, because how do we know it's good? Because he could force everyone in the chotza to chip in. We have this story, it was a common thing that Eliyahu Hanavi used to come to him to talk to him. One day he built a guard post to his chotza, but Eliyahu stopped coming because now the Anim couldn't come to ask for tzedakah, so Eliyahu didn't come to this chotza anymore. So we could see it's a bad thing. So how could you force someone to build a beis shar? So there are a few turutzim. Lo ikashia. Homi gavoy, homi buroi. Depends where you build this guard post. If you build it outside the chotza, so then the oni can't come in whatsoever, can't shout, and you can't hear him, so it's a bad thing. But if you build it inside, that the oni could still raise his voice, and the people in the chotza will hear him, there's no problem. The Ibo is saying another terror, tova, homi buroi. They both talking about they build on the outside. Veloy kasha, there's no kasha. Hodi is leideles. In the case where it's not a problem when there's no door, and it's very schwer. I didn't see anyone talking about it. How could you tell me that in the case without the door, then it's not a problem? The Mishnah says that it's a good thing, and it's only to do a beis shar and a deles. I don't know. But the Gemara is saying, Hodisli deles. If there's a door, then it's a problem. Hodilesli deles, then it's not a problem. And the Mishnah is talking about where there's no door, even though that the Mishnah is talking about where there is a door. Ibo is saying another chiluk. Hodisli deles, they both talking about when there's a door. Veloy kasha, hodisli pitachas, hodilesli pitachas. If there's a lock on the door, it's an issue, because then the name can't come in. If there's no lock, no problem. Ibo is saying another chiluk. Hodisli pitachas, both talking about when there's a lock. Veloy kasha, hodisli pitachas, that the lock has a key in it all the time from the outside. From the inside, and then it's a problem because Anim can't open it, and then they can't ask for tzedakah. The lock for it to open it is mibaroi from the outside, so anyone could open it, and the Anim could open it and ask for tzedakah, and then there's no issue. We learned in the Mishnah, you could force the people in the chotza to build a guard post and a door. Tanya, Rav Shimon Gamliel, in the Brisa it says that Rav Shimon Gamliel says, "Lo kol hachatzeres levis lebeis shar." Not on every chotzer you could force everyone in the chotzer to chip in. Only if your chotzer is on the border of Rosh Hashanah, there are lots of people over there, then you need a guard post. So then you need the guard post. If it's not close to Rosh Hashanah, there's a smaller place where people go but not lots of people, you can't force them to build the guard post. Rabbanon who argue, they hold in the Dachgibur Rosh Hashanah, let's say the Levaya or Simcha, lots of people on the street, and they'll come into that place, and therefore even if it's not close to Rosh Hashanah, you could force everyone to chip in to pay for this guard post. We learned in the Mishnah, later you could force the people in the city to pay for the walls and for the door of the city and for the hinges. Not every city is suitable for a wall around it. If it's close to the border, you can force everyone to chip in. If it's not close to the border, it's no right for Choyman, you can't force everyone to chip in. The Rabbanon who argue, they say, even if you're not next to the border, sometimes an army comes past, and therefore it's right for each city to have a wall around it. And if the people in the city want to build one, they can force everyone to chip in. When they charge the people in the city to pay for this choyma around the city, do we say each person who lives in the city pays this amount of money, and let's say a family with 10 children have to pay 10 times the amount, and someone who's a bachelor only pays for himself? We look how richer people are. Someone who has a lot of money, who has more to lose if an army comes in and steals him, he has to pay more. You look at how people are richer, and on that they need to pay more. And he told him, my son-in-law, putting it like nails into this halacha that I'm telling you. Make it fixed. It's a fixed halacha what I'm telling you. Some people say, Rabbi Loza asked Rabbi Yochanan a bit of a different shaila. When you charge people in the city to pay for the walls, do we look, the person in the first line who has more risk that people are going to steal from him has to pay more? Or we see how much money people have, and if you're rich, you pay more. No other matter where you live, if you live close to the edge of the city or not. We look how close the houses are to the edge of the city. And my son-in-law put nails into this halacha and fix this halacha that should be fixed. Thank you very much, and we should all be zoiche to remember this Gemara and learn it again, and learn lots and lots of other Gemaras. Thank you.